And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your Precision Racing League's American PS4 Championship F1 Championship Series. I'm your host for this evening, Hootius. Out there in Twitchland, you know me as Old Man Hoot. Season number 10, race number 12. We are in Belgium, and that only means one thing. The historic Spa-Francorchamps. That's right. And a little special icing on the cake. Our resident meteorologist, Aerostrike, has informed us we have bright, beautiful skies in qualifying. We are going to start the race on these tires that these gentlemen are going to qualify on. Then it's going to rain, and it's going to rain hard. So strategy is going to be at the utmost tonight. When do they pit? Do they pit for inners? Do they have to pit a second time for full wets? That's going to determine who takes the top step at the podium tonight. And it is not taking long for Spa to show its teeth. We already on an outlap have our first DNF of qualifying. That would be Mr. Dano in the Red Bull. You see the left front tire completely demolished. Dano is busting out a brand new wheel tonight. And it looks like the brand new wheel busted Dano. So already off to an exciting start, so to speak, here in qualifying. Last time here at Spa, the man we're watching right now, not a shocker, your defending champion, the man who's on an absolute tear this season, Mixendit, snagged the victory. Forza came in second. Aerostrike rounded out the podium. So we're going to see, will history repeat itself, or can somebody knock off the champ? It's been hard to do this season. I mean, we've had Forza win a race. We've had Odoms win two. Other than that, it's been this guy. Damn near week in, week out. And matter of fact, so we are going to give a shout out to Mixendit as well. PRL drivers have an option to sponsor a race, so to speak. And Mixendit has picked Spa as the track for him to sponsor. So what we're going to do is hop on with the champ. He is going to give us a track tour around Spa. As we jump on board with the Mercedes, here he comes out of the chicane. This is going to end the course. We're on the front stretch. Right there is the start-finish line. You're going to go into this hairpin, hard on the brakes, get her around, floor it. At this point, it's going to be who has the biggest set, who is fearless, because you're going to floor it around that bend. You're going to keep flooring it, and here we go. Up au rouge. Extend it nice and smooth. However, in the race, once it starts getting wet, don't expect it to be that smooth. Here we go, a nice big wide open DRS zone. It's going to present some overtake opportunities here, as we have a nice right to left, not just barely a short shoot if you want to call it that, into a right-hander. Here's where you do have a short shoot that could lead to possible overtake opportunity. Long, windy right-hander. You're going to want to run it wide and then hug the right side, because here you go, sharp left. Testing the curbing. It's a little bit of a bend, but this shoot is flat out. You're going to have a double apex left-hander right here. Guys have been complaining. You hit the inside curb, it wipes you out. You hit the outside curb, it wipes you out. That double left-hander could very well determine the race tonight. As we go right into a windy left. Another short shoot. Hard on the brakes. Now this time, we're going to have a double right-hander separated by just a little short shoot. And here we go. Time to floor it again. It's going to be a lot of bends, a lot of twists, but overall, it's going to be floored. Right here coming up, this sharp left, if you can keep it floored through here, you're going to have a wonderful lap. It's going to bend to the right one more time as you go hard, hard, hard on the brakes. Almost down into first gear. Right to left, the final chicane. This is going to put you back on the pitch straight, finish straight, however you'd like to call it. And there you go. And it's really not a good first lap for Mixendit there. Mixendit may have set a world record in the rain at Spa today, so we know he has really fast speed. He's looking to be competitive. That was more so, I guess, just a banker lap for the champ. He definitely has time to get back around. Oh no, we just had a disqualification. He will still be able to race. It looks like Pack wiped out. And this is an unfortunate flaw in this game. He wiped out. He may have stayed where he was to make sure he didn't impede anybody. Everybody got through. And the game disqualified for it. So Pack will still race with us tonight. No problem at all. He will start in the back of the pack, though. All right, as the first round of laps have gone in, so no shocker right now. Currently sitting P1, which looks to be as a car issue because normally we've seen this man in a McLaren. Odoms right now with a pretty hefty lead over Nick Dahi. Almost 6/10 of a second. Forza currently sitting third. We're the runner-up last time here, who unfortunately missed last week. So Forza taking a hit in the points. If he wants to battle for that second place in points, he's got to have a strong showing tonight. It appears Forza may be AFK. He has the game paused. The AI is driving his ghoster vehicle around, so see if Forza has a chance to get out there. Matter of fact, it looks like he's regaining control now, so Forza's going to get to the pits, get a fresh set of tires on. Now, what's interesting here is Odoms is on the Ultras, and then we got 3 sets of Super Softs. Matter of fact, Aaron Webb currently sitting P4 as well. That is true, as Jacko pointed out in chat. Maybe we missed all the shenanigans. The Australian League had an unfortunate incident where somebody literally got teleported through the track, flew up into the air like a rocket ship, and then got disqualified for it. I think Pax may have just based on where he was in the track, may have just whipped it around. But you can't rule out Codemasters from doing a wonderful flaw like that. All right, as drivers now starting to get fresh tires. Now we saw Odoms throw down an ultra soft lap. Now he just threw on the supers. Matter of fact, I believe that's Forza, but nope. That would be Arrow that we just saw coming up behind Odoms, who's on a flyer. This would be his first lap, and really his only lap unless he decides to do a second lap on those tires. This will be a bit of a gamble that some guys might look at doing. We know rain is going to come later in this race, but when? Can Super Softs potentially take you to when the rain starts? We shall see. Now we're still waiting for laps. We got J-Rod out there right now. We know Arrow's on a hot lap. Woody's has yet to leave the pit. As a matter of fact, there he goes. We just saw the Williams bolt out. So Woody's is going to get one shot at a qualifying lap. As we see, it's it's under 2 minutes. You're looking, mid 140s to get a lap in. So, like I said, this may be the last lap for a lot of these guys unless they decide to do a second lap on a set of tires. All right, Forza has finally made it in. The AI has driven him there. Now, Forza, I'm not sure if he's AFK or what, but he's got to get in, get a new set of tires, and get out if he wants a shot at a second lap. All right, we got to give a shout out to Chapa. Well, he was sitting P5 until Arrow just knocked him down. So that's going to make Ferrari's P3 and P5 right now. And it looks like Arrow's going to go a second lap. He is. All right, well, so we'll keep an eye on Arrow, see if he can improve his time. So we've currently got Chapa in 6th. Brian Mosser in 7th. Matter of fact, Brian is about to cross the start-finish line. He opens up DRS. No improvement. So Brian is on Ultras. I don't know if we'll see a second lap at him or if that was the finish to his out lap and the scoreboard just coded it wrong. LSR, how's it going, my man? Thanks for coming back this week. Very much appreciated. All right, Odoms. About at the end of Sector 1. Coming up on the double lefts. Remember, his qualifying lap, that pole lap we're looking, was on Ultras. He's out there on Supers right now, seeing if he could possibly better his time on that slower tire, yet being able to use that tire wear when the race starts. Dahi and Forza, they put their laps on Supers. They are now going to be out there on Ultras. Except Dahi will, Forza's not. Forza is still in the pits. Forza will not get a second lap in. All right, and J-Rod jumped himself up to 5th place, and immediately Arrow took 5th place back. And not a shocker, there we go. Arrow's going to go ahead and call it at this point. He put out 2 hot laps on those supers. Odoms just did it. Odoms bettered his time significantly. He has a full second over Nick Dahi right now on super softs. So now it's a matter, can Dahi's just starting his hot lap right now. He'll be on ultras. McSendit is on his hot lap. He is on supers. As we see, K-Dog currently sitting in 10th. He is locked in. Woody's, he's on to his one and only lap out there right now. Chapa is done. Forza and Aaron Webb are locked into their spots. Well, they can't better their spots, let's say that. All right, so eyes are on McSendit as we have drivers retiring as well. We're going to watch McSendit and Woody's finish out their lap. Actually, Woody's just finished his lap, and that Williams driver on the Ultras just jumped up P2. Great lap for Woody's. He had one shot, and he made it count. Now the eyes are back on the champ. The only driver out there turning a lap right now, Aerostrike doesn't have the checkered flag, but he's done. As we look, let's go to the best fit. So up front right now is a bunch of super softs with Woody's right now sitting P2 on the Ultras. McSendit through the chicane one final time. This is going to be the end of qualifying. Can the champ do it? Can he capture another pole? And he is going to fall 3/10 short. Put McSendit P2. It's going to be Odoms. He's going to go ahead and he'll take yet another pole to his name so far this season. That's going to give Odoms 7 poles to McSendit's 5. The only 2 drivers to start on the front spot so far this season. McSendit P2. Woody's is the third. Actually, so Williams is going to occupy the second row with Woody's third, Nick Dahi in fourth. Good times, LSR. It's always nice to have the random tab open. And there we go. Now it's official. So poll number 7, Odoms McSendit second. Woody's, it's going to be interesting for Woody's. He is surrounded by a lot of super soft tires. So Woody starting P3 is going to have to pass quickly if he wants to utilize that strategy. Dahi in fourth. Forza Alonso, your runner-up last time here. It's going to start 5th. Aaron Webb in 6th. Aerostrike 7th. J-Rod 8th. Chapa 9th. Brian Mosser is going to round out your top 10. K-Dog, Dano, and Pack. This is going to be huge for K-Dog, Dano, and Pack. Those 3 drivers are going to be able to start on whatever tire they want. Here at Spa, it's Ultras, it's Supers, and it's regular softs. If I was those 3 guys, you're possibly looking at putting on the softs and seeing if you can go until the rain hits. If you can manage to do one less pit stop than everybody else because you can get those fresh tires in the beginning, that could be absolutely huge. And LSR, I thought I had the schedule fully updated with the F1. I'll have to double check that again, my man. I'll definitely get that looked at for you. As a matter of fact, too, I have to update it. The GT3 League, that schedule has just been finalized. That's going to be very interesting and pretty crazy. All right. So our resident meteorologist Aerostrike has a new update. We have light rain in box 2, heavy rain in box 4. This might be a potential... Our super soft guys might be able to make it until that light rain hits and throw on inners. At the end of the race, it'll be a big call on who goes inners, who goes wets. We'll have to see. If that's the case, LSR, then yeah, something crapped out on that Streamlabs app, and I'll have to get that fixed, buddy. All right, we're jumping back. We're going on top of Forza on the Ferrari. He's starting 5th. The lights are out. You see Odoms with a great start. Woody's with a nice start himself. He's going to challenge McSendit. Forza right on the back of Woody's. McSendit, though, on that outside line, got a pretty good run. Forza and Dahi are side by side. Not exactly where you want to be entering Eau Rouge. Dahi's going to back out. Forza's going to take 4th. Aaron Webb, he's now challenging Nick Dahi for 5th. So far, everybody clean. Eau Rouge did not claim a victim on lap 1, but oh no, that's going to be Pack, and there's a victim right afterwards. Pack was starting on the softs. He was one of the guys in the back of the pack trying to make it to the rain hit, and unfortunately, that is a busted up Force India, and that's going to be it for Pack early. Back up front, Odoms trying to extend his lead on McSendit. DRS will open up by lap 3. The rain is not going to hit that early, so Odoms is trying to get that gap now. In the back, we've got Dano making some early moves. He's +3 right now. He is on the softs. He is looking good to try to make that tire strategy work. And K-Dog, the other driver outside the top 10, started on softs as well. So that'll be interesting to watch as we have a battle going on. Actually, J-Rod has just overtaken Aaron Webb for 6th place. J-Rod making some early moves. He's gotten around both Aaron Webb and Aerostrike. Keep an eye on the battle here, as now Nick Dahi is closing back in on Forza. The battle for 4th starting to tighten up. Forza right on the back of Woody's. Woody's just now starting to slide out of DRS. McSendit is flirting with falling out of DRS. Next lap around, DRS will be available, but these guys got to keep it within 1 second of one another. And we have a lap 1 pit, and this is going to be for Chapa for a broken wing. Unfortunate for the Toro Rosso driver. However, he's in now. He's on the softs. This could possibly not hurt him as bad if everybody else has to stop for another set of slicks before the rain hits. All right, Odom's desperately trying to get McSendit out of that second range. He doesn't want him to have DRS next time by. The top 2 drivers are starting to gap. 3rd place on back. It's almost 2 seconds back to Woody's, who's being pressured by Forza, who's being pressured by Nick Dahi. And then you have a little bit of a gap back to the Red Bull of J-Rod, who is wide and is sliding and is in the wall. And that is just a broken nose. Wow. Very, very fortunate for J-Rod. That was not terminal damage, the way he just collided into that wall. So, tough break that he's going to have to pit now, get the wing, throw on softs, but that could have been the race for J-Rod. We were talking about that double apex left. You hit the inside curb, you wreck. You hit the outside curb, you wreck. It looks like the outside curb shot him to that outside runoff area, overcorrected, and ate that left side wall. But J-Rod still has a car to race, though. All right, McSendit, as we start lap 3, DRS is open. McSendit was actually a little bit faster than Odoms that time around. The long DRS zone is at the top of Eau Rouge. McSendit needs to close the gap. Odoms had the better run out of the hairpin. McSendit's flirting with that 1 second. McSendit did not get DRS. That's huge for Odoms. Now McSendit's still going to get a little bit of a slipstream, but not that DRS, so they pretty much run equal down that straight. As Jaja shouts it out, that was a definite oh no for J-Rod. He's in, though. He's got a new wing. He's got the softs. J-Rod, he's like Chapa. Those 2 drivers need to hope that everybody else pits for an extra set of slicks, and then those softs can last those guys until the rain hits. Only 22 laps here at Spa. This is a huge track. It takes a lot of time to get around. Oh, there he is. Another oh no is going to go to who was in 3rd place, Woody's, as he whips it around. It looks like he may have caught some grass on the exit of that turn, and he's still got grass on the tires, so you see there's absolutely no traction whatsoever. Hey, Coop, thank you so much for the follow. Very much appreciated. Well, Woody's was sitting third, caught grass, spun, no damage to the car, but he has lost a ton of time. It's going to move Forza now up into the final podium position here early in the race. 3.5 seconds back of McSendit. He's got Dahi within a second of himself, though. And through these other drivers having issues, Aaron Webb and Aerostrike drivers who lost positions early now find themselves in the green. And shout out to Dano. He's running a very masterful start to this race. He wrecked in qualifying. He started on soft tires. That's the hardest compound here at Spa. He's +5 right now. You see 5th and 6th place in front of him. Dano's having a great start to this race, hoping that these super soft guys have to pit before the rain hits. And then if Dano can make those softs last, stay out when the rain hits, man, Dano's looking good right now. He just needs the rain to hit at the right time to maximize this strategy right here. And Woody's actually did pit. So Woody's must have done some damage to that Ultra Softs. As a matter of fact, so Woody's was the only guy up there in the top 6 who was on Ultras. Wait a minute. I just see it. Oh, guys, we got sprinkles already. Sprinkles are starting to happen. This could be a killer 2 for Woody's. Now, it's a very light sprinkle, and this is a very big track. We'll have to see once the track really starts getting wet. I expect maybe everybody can stay out for another lap or 2. This kind of stinks a little bit for Dano. He was probably hoping the rain could hold off for maybe another 3 or 4 laps, force those super soft guys to pit. But I would expect within the next 2 laps, we're going to see the field come in. Right now, really only one battle going on for position, and that's going to be for 5th. 2 drivers who have seen themselves battling a lot over this season, Aerostrike and Aaron Webb. Gentlemen going back and forth the last 2 weeks, rounding out the podiums. Aaron with that 3rd place finish at Silverstone, and then last week at the Hungaroring, Aerostrike getting his first podium of the season. Now, the sprinkles are pretty clear here on the front stretch. We'll have to see how it looks all the way around the circuit, but that means these guys, too, are going to have to be insanely careful now through Eau Rouge. Just that little bit of moisture. That could be the race if anybody tries to be, way too aggressive. We see the DRS, though, is still available. Means the track marshals have determined that the track is not that wet yet. And we saw Dano on the back there. A scary moment as he kicked up some dirt, but he held his Red Bull under control. Lost a couple tenths, but again, it could have been so much worse. We have another battle forming now. The Ultra Softs of Brian Mosser have started wearing out. K-Dog is on the back of him now. And Arrow closing in on Aaron. We're going to keep an eye on both battles. Plus, we're going to keep an eye on the scoreboard as well. When will our leaders pit for intermediates? We see the car starting to slide around a little bit, but it's not really wet yet. Though here, on the start of Sector 3, it definitely looks like it's raining a little bit harder now. Arrow with a run, but could not make the move at the chicane. And while we were watching that, so K-Dog has gotten around Brian. The combination, oh no, Brian, hold it. Oh no. All right, that's just a broken wing. The tire is still attached. Brian is definitely coming in, getting a new wing, and throwing on. I would assume at this point Brian's going to throw on intermediates. And we have DNF number 2. It's going to be Chapa. Unfortunately, he had an incident earlier, and that's going to be it for the Toro Rosso driver. As he is DNF. That's number 2. So we've had 2 big wrecks where guys have survived, and then 2 wrecks that resulted in terminal damage. We're going to hop on board with the Haas. What is Brian Mosser going to do? It still may not be wet enough for intermediates, however, if he throws on a pair of slicks, Brian is going full wets. I don't know about this call from the Haas driver. We'll have to wait to see how this plays out for Brian. The rain is starting to pick up a little bit, and we know it will pick up later on, but Brian might have a hell of a hard time trying to get these tires from overheating until you're seeing a little bit of spray kick up. And actually, while we were watching that, Aaron Webb has gone around. So I would not be surprised if we start seeing guys this time in. And then it'll be a matter of, do you go inners, or do we see anybody else gamble like we saw Brian and go full wets? Right now, Odoms is feeling it. He's not pitting. Same with McSendit. Send it 2 seconds back, trying to keep Odoms in sight. Forza is staying out. Dahi's staying out. Arrow's going to stay out. Dano continuing that great start. He's +6. Here's a question for Aaron Webb. We saw him just spin. He says, nah, that was a mistake. He's staying out. K-Dog working that soft strategy as well. We know the tire wear is not a factor for Dano or K-Dog. It's just a matter of grip for everybody out on the track right now. Oh, Brian Mosser is just struggling right now. I think the full wets were a bad call. He should have gone intermediates. Like, the car is not... Yeah, he's just got no power in this thing right now. So we'll see what Brian decides to do if he has to make a pit stop and jump on those inners. Looking at Odoms, who got placed in the wrong car tonight. This is the McLaren driver who got kidnapped by a Toro Rosso crew member, I'm guessing. Your pole sitter has led the every lap so far. Trying to see when the track is going to be wet enough. Matter of fact, let's jump on. So you see the track's graying out more and more. The raindrops on the car. Still not totally shocked by this. I mean, the track is definitely slick, but I would think, though, as good as it's raining in sectors 1 and 3, next time around might be the time to pit. In fact, we're going to watch Odoms. You see, it was... we got a sector 3. Oh, no! Dano's gonna... I'm really shocked the game did not disqualify Dano for that. He was ghosted out. He knew he was not at any risk to hurt another car. But we've seen in qualifying, drivers get disqualified for less. Dano wrecked in the final chicane, was able to pull it in. He's going to grab inners and a new wing, but I think Dano there just got insanely lucky. The game didn't disqualify him. We got another Sector 3 yellow. Not seeing what that was. And looking at the scoreboard, everybody's still in the same order. So I'm not sure what that... May have been Odoms, actually, as McSendit. Okay, Brian is getting out of the way of the guys, but wonder if that Sector 2 may have been Odoms a little bit, as he must have had a slip-up, because McSendit has jumped up a second and a half, and now we've got a battle for the lead. As the drivers navigate through Sector 3, coming up to the chicane, either one of them going to make a move into pit road. Yes, both of them are coming in. All right, we're going to see intermediates on both drivers. No speeding penalty for each. Forza's coming in. Dahi staying out one more time. Bold call by Dahi. We'll see what this lap says for him. All right, Arrow is in. Arrow is hoping that his Ferrari crew can get Forza out of there so he doesn't get stacked up and lose time to Aaron Webb. Forza's already out, so this shouldn't be too bad for Arrow. Yep, there was a big enough gap between Ferrari teammates, so those guys timed that out very well as both Aaron Webb and K-Dog are coming in now. Huge! McSendit just got a 3-second penalty. And I have not seen Odoms get one yet either, so it could be very, very big. Now we're going to watch the gap between Dahi and Forza. Dahi was about 1.5 seconds, almost 2 seconds behind Forza when Forza came in the pits. We're going to see if this call either worked out or hurt Dahi. As he has got Odoms and McSendit starting to close in on him. Here comes Woody and J-Rod. That should, let's take a look here. That's going to put, everybody but Dahi on the inners. As Brian Mosser made another pit stop, he got off those wets. All right, here we go. Starting sector 3. Oh, no! Was this Eau Rouge? It was Eau Rouge. It's going to be Dano. Dano had a great start to his race. He wrecked in qualifying. He got as high as 6th, and unfortunately now, that's going to be it for Dano. Tough break. Odoms with a strong outside move to Dahi. Dahi bails. He's going on to pit road. Odoms could not afford to stay around Dahi through that chicane. He had to make an outside move. He's trying to keep McSendit as far back as possible. And that call to stay out an extra lap was a killer for Dahi. Forza's already by. Here comes Arrow. You see Arrow in the background. There comes Brian Mosser to pit. All right, so Dahi is gone. So Dahi did lose a lot of ground to Forza, but he still has a pretty decent gap on Arrow. So no position loss for Dahi, but a definite time loss. Dano's now in the chat. Yeah, buddy. It really is. It's going to be 3 DNFs. 3 victims claimed by Spa tonight. Now, last week we had this situation, but with the other Haas driver, as we were rooting Bubba along to complete enough laps to get his points. Aaron Webb gets himself a 3-second penalty. This is going to be Brian now. Brian, as long as he can complete 75% of this race, get himself to lap 17. Brian's guaranteed at least a point. So he's had a rough start to this race, but we'll root him on and see if he can keep her straight, keep her pointed in the right direction, keep the tires on it, and we'll see what the Haas driver could do. Odom's now starting to pull away from McSendit. It was a 1-second gap. Now it's about almost 1.5. It's definitely a 2-man show, though. Odom's got to be careful. That's twice in a row now. I see him run wide out of that fast left. McSendit has a 3-second penalty. Odoms does not want to give that time back to McSendit now. Forza running third. 10.5 seconds back, but 10 seconds in front of Nick Dahi. Nick with that unfortunate call to stay out 1 lap too late. Still holding 4th. We said now is 10 seconds back. And if he has a slip up, there's another Ferrari looking to pounce. You see what 4 seconds looks like there on the track. However, you spin those wheels way too much, and that'll close in an instant. All right, right now, the big mover of the race, give him a shout out. Your Project Cars 2 GT3 champion K-Dog, currently running in 6th. He's got Aaron Webb behind him. J-Rod, actually, I believe that, never mind, that's Brian Mosser behind these two. But he's got Aaron Webb behind him. Aaron trying to close in. Aaron was running 5th when he had a spin. So Aaron's trying to make up some time now. J-Rod in 8th. J-Rod had a lot of speed in that Red Bull tonight. Unfortunately, we caught it on camera, and the double apex lefts went way too wide, slid, ate the wall pretty severely. Luckily, didn't get terminal damage. He had to make an extra pit stop to repair that wing. So J-Rod finds himself in 8th, 33 seconds back of Aaron and K-Dog, though. Woody's qualified 3rd, was running 3rd when he had his unfortunate spin as well, had to make that extra pit stop. That's why you see him as -6 right now, back in 9th place. And we documented Brian Mosser. He's had some issues. He had some questionable pit road calls. But he's currently sitting 10th. He survived. The Haas is still running right now. Brian's got 5 more laps to go to be guaranteed a point. We'll see how it works out for the Haas driver. McSendit closed in a couple tenths on Odoms that time around, so we'll watch that as we're keeping an eye on Aaron Webb and K-Dog, the battle for 6th. Matter of fact, McSendit, now we're going to go up front because the battle for 1st is now the closest. McSendit really starting to close in on Odoms. Odoms is not liking these conditions right now. That 2.5 lead. Uh-oh. We got a Sector 3. Brian Mosser. He needed 4 more laps. Brian is going to finish 10th. He is not going to meet the 75% requirement. He will not get a point tonight. Unfortunate for Brian. It was the fast left kink there in Sector 3 that got him. Not sure if he went wide in 8 wall or got too much of this inside curb and spun in 8 wall, but that'll be the 4th casualty tonight. And as we were watching that, so not sure what was going on with Odoms, but maybe McSendit this time decided to have a goof up as Odoms has captured that 0.7 of a second back. It was 1.5 seconds. It got down to 0.7 of a second, and now it's back to 1.5 seconds. And the battle for 6 is really heating up now. You see Aaron Webb taking a peek at K-Dog. Far from the first time that these guys have battled. Both drivers go wheel to wheel many times over the last 1.5 years in our NASCAR Heat League. Now looking to mix it up in F1. It's K-Dog. You saw a lot of oversteer there, a lot of wheel spin. Whoa! Aaron really lucky there not to get wing damage. Though he does have the overtake now on K-Dog. K-Dog's trying to battle back. Whoa! K-Dog almost lost it, had to back out of it. He didn't want to risk wrecking himself and Aaron. So, give Aaron P6. K-Dog's going to fall back to P7. K-Dog's still the biggest mover of the race at +4. And they have a pretty big gap back to J-Rod, so K-Dog at this point decided a hard battle is not worth it in these conditions. Give Aaron the spot and see if maybe he could chase him back down. That Renault was a little bit wild, so he, take the time, gather it back in. And Brian Mosser has joined the chat. Brian, buddy, you just needed 4 more laps for that point, man. We were trying to root you on like we rooted Bubba on last week. All right, as another battle is starting to form now, this is going to be the battle for 4th. Aerostrike, he was calling it. He wanted a wet weather race. And it's starting to see why right now as he is starting to reel in Nick Dahi. When they pitted for inners, this was a 6-second gap. So Aero has done a really, really good job closing this gap. Matter of fact, we're going to hop on with the Ferrari. The double lefts. Both drivers nice and smooth. Though it did look like Arrow. Whoa, 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 whoa. Arrow had a whoa-er up there. Make sure he didn't get back in the Nick. To the back of Nick there. X-Ice, what's going on, buddy? All right. Nick had a pretty nice run out of that right-hander. So this will pretty much prevent Arrow from trying anything to the chicane unless Nick has just an awful left-hander. Nope, both drivers nice and clean. So they'll keep it as is. Arrow again with a hard brake has to make sure he does not get in the back of Nick. We're seeing Nick being pretty conservative, making sure that he doesn't lose control of the car. Arrow wants to be a little bit more aggressive in these braking zones, but Arrow's got to be careful. Make sure he doesn't sustain any wing damage getting into the back of Nick. Glad to hear that, Brian. Glad you're getting everything fixed up, buddy. All right, up through Eau Rouge. Actually, Dahi with a great run through Eau Rouge. Starting to separate from Arrow a little bit. McSendit starting to close back in on Odoms just a little bit. That's been yo-yoing back and forth. Right now it rests at about 1 second or so. If I see that close up anymore, we'll jump to the battle for the lead. But as it stands, we're going to watch this battle for 4th place. Dahi using a lot of curb. Feeling confident in his setup right now. To close that gap, Arrow might have the faster car right now, but is it fast enough to make a move and make it stick? See, Arrow had to make a correction there. It's going to give Dahi a good run, and Dahi had a good run in the last corner, so again, the driver's going to stay in line unless Dahi has a goof up. We're not going to see the position change before the chicane. That time the rear end kicked out a little bit from Dahi, but still, Arrow's a little too far back to make it capitalize. Again, Arrow with harder braking. He's going to go wheel to wheel with Dahi. Oh no! Oh! Scary moment for Arrow as under acceleration, the rear end kicked out on that car. However, able to hold it. No damage done. Dahi's going to secure 4th for another lap. Great battle formed right now. We had a brief Sector 3 yellow pop-up, but none of the deltas changed on the minimap, so I don't know if that was just a premature yellowation there from the track marshals, thinking Arrow was going to bite the dust, but looks like everybody else is in the positions and pretty much same deltas. Though McSendit now is trying to flirt within a second. Again, our top 2 drivers are kind of yo-yoing one another right now. The rain continuing to fall. Our weather report said that we're going to look at really heavy conditions by the end of this race. And then it'll be a matter of, does anybody pit for the full wets? Or do they try to ride these inners out for the rest of the time? LSR, I'm both shocked and appalled by your console joke. How dare you? But yes, that is true. All right, we're going to hop back on board with the Ferrari because this has provided some close moments here coming up the chicane. Arrow went with a late break last time to try to make the outside work. Proxy, thank you so much for the Prime. Holy crap, I really, really appreciate that. Thank you very much. That is awesome. All right, that time around, Arrow didn't try to make a move in the chicane. He's trying to get closer to Nick. I think if Arrow can get himself within 3 or 4 tenths, then he could try to do a late break move. Is the video stuttering for anybody else? I saw Sandman was complaining about Twitch having issues. Well, Proxy, thank you so much. I'm glad you found the channel. We're here. Well, we won't be here 4th of July week, but we're here every week for the Precision Racing League. I tried my hand at driving. I suck. I found out I'm much better at talking about F1 cars. So definitely happy to bring you the action here.
Oh, yeah.
So it is stuttering. This is not good. Give me one moment here as you guys keep watching Arrow as McSenda is falled back even further. Because I don't believe this is PS4 because on my TV it's looking wonderfully right now. This may be a Hootie Lappy issue. One second, I'm checking some things here. Well, why didn't anybody else but Sandman say something earlier? I hate you all. I think I see what you guys are saying. I have the Twitch up in a browser as well. That is not good. All right. At this point, I really don't know because CPU usage and everything looks great. I do see on my Streamlabs, though, there was some drop frame issues. So I think this just may have to take our computer restart. And, with just 5 laps to go, I'm going to apologize severely for the quality tonight then, guys. I'm super sorry about that. But I'll definitely make sure in the future, though, that we do have hard restarts and make sure this does not happen again. I don't hate you all. I just hate you, Brian. There's a difference. Oh, and also, too, through when I was doing all these shenanigans, LSR, thank you so much for the sub as well. That is absolutely nuts. Like, I can't tell you how appreciative I am of that, guys. And Hootspot's is special. He might be. He might not be. You don't know. We'll see. All right, we have our first pitter. Woody's rarely far back in the pack. Obviously, last car running doesn't have to worry about losing a position. He's going to throw on the wets. Can he possibly chase down J-Rod? That's what we're going to find out. Because it's really starting to fall now, and you can see the track is really starting to get wet. We still have a dry line, but this is significantly heavier than what we were seeing earlier in the race. It's a 20-second gap. We'll just watch the delta between Woody's and J-Rod and see what happens. As we go back to the battle of fourth between Dahi and Arrow, this is not letting up. See Arrow with a face mask full of rooster tail coming off the back end of Dahi. Up through Raw Rouge. Oh, actually, Arrow with a nice run. We're going to hop on board. Dahi's going to protect this inside line. Arrow's going to go to the outside. Arrow with a late break again. He's going to make it stick this time. Can Dahi try to turn around the move? You saw Arrow with just the slightest bit of wheel spin there. But he's going to hold it. So after a handful of laps, Arrow chased down Dahi and is finally able to make the overtake. And as LSR just pointed out in chat as well, Woody's is not faring well on those full wets. He's actually lost a second to J-Rod since the pit stop. The rain's still coming down harder and harder, though you're not seeing the puddles on the track. You're not seeing the track like fully wash away yet. I would think at this point, too, where's Odoms at? All right. We have roughly 3 2/3 of a lap to go. It might be beyond the point of no return. Holy crap, did Dahi just get a penalty? All right, well, we've seen this before here at Spa. Dahi must have slid through the chicane because we saw this back in F1 2006. Forza Alonso, Elma Jacko, there was lag contact that sent Forza flying through the grass through the chicane, and he got a 10-second penalty for that. So the only thing I can think of is if Nick had issues and slid through the grass there, and that's why the game just gave him a 10-second penalty. What works out in Nick's favor, though, is that Aaron Webb is almost 30 seconds behind. So as long as Nick doesn't do that every lap into the end of this race, he should have that gap covered, and he'll have 5th place under control right now. Not too long ago, we were watching the battle for 6th, Aaron Webb and K-Dog. Since Aaron got around him, he is just checked out from K-Dog. It's almost a 10-second gap. Oh, don't you start that crap again, Jacko. Yeah, and Woody's had nothing to lose. He was already in last place. The full wets just aren't working. He's now lost 6 seconds on J-Rod in the 2 laps since he's been on these full wets. So, like I said, it could have worked. If it didn't work, it didn't really hurt him. But that's a big thing for the rest of these guys. Oh no, Odoms had issues. Did Odoms have issues in the chicane? That's the only thing I can think of because now McSennett has gotten around him. We have had a pass for the lead with 3 to go. Your points leader, McSennett, now P1. The only thing we can assume is Odoms had issues. The wing is still fully intact. There was only 2 seconds separating them. Odoms is second behind McSennett. That could have just been a big-time slide and catch by Odoms to give McSennett P1. Odoms now already starting to close in on McSennett, though. Odoms has led this entire race. But a late slip-up might cost him the victory. Now, one thing working in Odom's favor, though, is we know McSennett has a 3-second penalty. This might, if it stays as it is, and Odoms does not, he doesn't go for an overtake, this could be a reversal of our season opener at Australia. Remember, in that race, Odoms crossed the line first, but a 3-second penalty awarded the win to McSennett. McSennett right now, he needs Odoms to have another slip-up to cover that gap. Seeing Odoms keeping McSennett in sight. 2 to go. Now, these drivers do get told by their engineer if the guy in front of them has a penalty. We saw Odoms close in several tenths, but he hasn't really pushed the issue with McSennett. He hasn't really closed in even further like I was expecting him to. Does Odoms know that McSennett has the penalty? The rain is coming even harder now. Just try to cover that delta. We'll see if that's Odom's game plan. Remember, he has 2 wins on the season. but they were a while ago. Race number 2 and race number 4. This is race number 12. So it's been about 2 months since Odom has tasted victory. Brian, I am not restarting my computer with a lap and a half to go. You're going to have to deal with the stuttering. All right, through the double apex. It really looks right now as Odoms is just trying to maintain this gap. Keep it around 1 second. He doesn't want to risk having another mistake. He already had one 3-second mistake. If he has a second 3-second mistake, that'll take him out of contention for the win. Again, I have not seen Odom's name pop up. It may have gotten by me, but I seriously think that right now this is a Delta race. Coming up on the final lap, McSendit's gonna take the white flag. Eau Rouge one last time. McSendit's up clean. Odoms is up clean. There's a lap car far off in the distance. Not sure who that is at the moment. We'll have to see if they end up playing a factor in this. Odom's starting to close in on McSendit, though, on this final lap. No other position is really up for grabs right now unless somebody has a mistake, so we're staying on top of this Toro Rosso. All right, that's the Red Bull of J-Rod in front in 8th place. Starting to close in on J-Rod, so wouldn't be surprised to see J-Rod just completely get up out the way. He does not want to affect the battle for the lead, and there he goes. Great sportsmanship like we talk week in and week out here at the PRL. J-Rod just completely moves for the leaders. Odom's closing in on the back of McSendit. Even if he has this race won on Delta, I know a part of Odom still wants to beat him to the line, so we're going to see what happens here. Will patience prevail? We hit the fast left one last time. Coming up to the chicane. Odom took a little peek there. Didn't really make a move. Here we go. Crossing the line. It's going to be McSendit first. Odom second. How do they get scored? Odoms did not have the time penalty. That is going to be win number 3 on the season for Odoms. Congratulations. Odoms really had the car of the race. He had that late slip up. McSendit took advantage of it, but earlier in the race, McSendit had that 3-second penalty, and it came back and bit him. So an opposite result of what we saw back in week number 1. Odoms crossed the line first. McSendit got the win. And here in week number 12, McSendit crosses the line first. Odoms gets the win. And Forza Alonso missed last week. He'll make up for it, though, with a podium here at Spa this week. And it's going to be a 3-4 finish for Ferrari, so congratulations to Aerostrike. He goes +3 on the race. Dahi's going to bring it home in 5th. Dahi's got to go back and question himself. Did he stay out on those super softs one lap too many? Could it possibly have cost him 4th place? We jump further back to the Force India of Aaron Webb. We just got 2 more drivers. Aaron through the chicane one last time. That'll be 6th place. And the last driver, guaranteed now 7th, is going to be your hard charger of the race, K-Dog. Started 11th. Ran softs in the beginning of the race. Couldn't fully utilize that tire strap because the rain came earlier, but he's trying to do a victory whip with the Renault. The AI catches him, but that'll round out your lead lap cars. J-Rod's going to finish 8th. Woody's is going to finish 9th. Both drivers a lap down. There we go. Odom's, for the first time in almost 2 months, he's going to celebrate the win. And this is a podium that we've seen a lot of this season. Odom's McSendit Forza. 4 championships between that podium and countless number of wins. And there you go. And then our 4D, our 4 DNF. So Brian Mosser is going to take home 10. I'm trying to think. The Red Bull, that would have been Chapa. No, that would have been Dano. The Toro Rosso was Chapa. And then there was Pack in 13th. LSR F1 is every week on Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Every week. Like I said, July 5th, there will not be a race just because of the holiday. But we are going to run every single Thursday up until the next game comes out. And I promise I will get that schedule deal updated. I'm not sure why it erased all the F1 races I had in there, but I will get that updated. You have a good night, LSR. And Brian, unfortunately, no, you fell a few laps short of the 75%. You needed 4 more laps to get that 1 point. Yeah, and I did see that arrow. But hey, man, to drive like the way you did on that broken wing, really awesome job tonight. All right, let's get our podium guys in here now. What's going on, gentlemen? Why am I not having sound? All right, let's try that now. Why don't you guys say something for me?
The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
All right, can somebody else say something for me? All right, Twitch, let's get this going. Your podium finishers tonight. So, we got to start off. Odom's, my man. You've gotten back into the podium habit, but tonight this was a masterful race you ran. You got the pole. You led the whole way. You had that scary slip up there with 2 to go. But in, I guess, a give back from Australia, you crossed the line second, but you come home with the win, my man. Did Jeff there tell you that there was a delta that you needed to cover and you didn't have to push it the last few laps?
Yeah, I knew he had a penalty. So obviously the objective was to just not bin it, which I did. I I just lost the back end out of the bus stop. Completely caught me off guard. But I knew he had a penalty, so I didn't fight it too hard. And I really wanted to overtake him again on the last lap. like really badly.
Yeah,
But
we saw that, and you even took just a little bit of a look entering the chicane there, but ultimately cooler head prevailed, and
yeah,
you did what you needed to do to take home your first victory in almost 2 months, my
God, it's been so long. Don't remind me.
man. Well, like I said, I mean, you didn't cross the line first, but really, you had the car to beat tonight, my man. So congratulations on a really awesome run.
Thanks.
All right, McSend a rare not win on this season, coming home second. You put it out in chat. A goof up on pit road exit gave you a little bit of wing damage there. Now
Yeah.
you may have set a world record in the rain at Spa this week. So do you feel like you know that mistake could have cost you?
I'm
Were you feeling
I'm
comfortable in those
disappointed with
intermediate
my driving,
conditions?
man. It cost me big time. Like I was surprised I was even able to like stick with him, but it was very light damage, so I lucked out there that it wasn't any worse. But it was just frustrating because like I felt like I had so much pace and that like I would make up some time in like Eau Rouge and then just lose it all and Pouan, the car would not turn. So yeah, it was frustrating. I was cursing myself for that mistake for sure. But right after that happened, I got 2 warnings in a row, like back to back in Eau Rouge, like on the entrance to Eau Rouge and then coming out of it, and then it's like, oh okay, like not only did I just break my wing, but I also got a 3-second penalty, like in the course of like 15 seconds.
Wow.
Like I was very like disgruntled by that point. My driving was starting to fall off, but
It's crazy. It's crazy how such a small moment in the race loses you the race.
I
Like such a
know it
small
was
window.
just yeah, like the wing breaking. I think that kind of like put me off, and then I just took a bad line in Eau Rouge, and
Uh,
yeah,
well,
that was race
I was
over.
about to say for other guys, with they break a wing, like literally it's race over. They have to pit and this and that. You persevered. You had great speed in that Mercedes tonight, and coming home second, my man, not too shabby.
Thanks, man.
All right, and rounding out our podium tonight, Forza. You've had some podium finishes where you kind of ran the entire race by yourself, but at least the first half of this race kept you on your toes. You had a great start. You got Nick early, then you had him on your tail pretty much until the pit stop. So let's talk about the beginning of that race, man.
Yeah, I knew that he wasn't gonna try to go side by side at the start. I know Nick, he's very cautious. Um, it was just kind of like a little mind game type of thing, where I was gonna place my car so that he knew that I was not gonna back out of it, and I was hoping that he would back out, and he did, and so I was able to get that spot at the start, and from there, yeah, just kind of ran my own race. Yeah, obviously he was behind me and whatnot, but just really the best of the rest, man.
Yeah, and at that point too,
That's how it's been for quite a while now, but it's all good though,
you already said it, you're just prepping for 18, baby. Going back to that championship form. That's all.
Yeah. That's all it is, man. That's all it is.
So when you came in for inners and you saw Dahi stayed out that one more lap, did you just like, all right, I got third?
Oh man, more than anything, I was happy for my teammate. I knew that he was going to get a massive jump
Yeah.
on him. It sucked that he did get held up just a tiny bit, for because we double stacked, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. So that's good. And yeah, when he stayed out another lap, man, I was very surprised by that decision. But yeah, that only helped out Arrow in the end, and from there, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't even running a wet setup or anything, so I was just kind of maintaining that like 10-second, 11-second gap to Nick, and then at that point, Arrow was just reeling him in.
Yeah, and we'll give a shout out to
And
your
yeah,
teammate Arrow as well. He was calling it out. He wanted rain, and he got rain, and he made the best of it. He was strong in the second half. He chased down Nick, and even passed Nick with a broken wing. So Arrow had a good Ferrari tonight.
I did zero practice in the wet, so so I don't know, man. Yeah, I was just kind of like, whatever happens, happens. So
Good
Yeah.
times. Well, ultimately, my
But it was a good race.
I've done like zero practice in the wet, but like this is my third league race in Belgium that's been wet in like the past month. So just sort of
I
know
think
what's
the
going to happen.
Australians even had weather too. It's just something about the track on this game.
Yeah.
But overall, a podium that we've seen many times over on this season. Just a little bit different order. So, again, Odom's with the win. McSend second. Forza third. Gentlemen, great races by all three of you tonight. Definitely well-earned podiums. Congratulations.
Thanks,
Hoot.
Hoot.
All right.
Thank you.
Now